Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into episode 3 of our networking journey, the link layer and local area networks. We spent a ton of time talking about the massive global internet, but today we're zooming way in. We are looking at the unsung hero of our digital lives, and that's the link layer. Think of this layer as the internet's local traffic cop, because honestly, without it, the physical space between your laptop and your Wi-Fi router would just be pure, unadulterated chaos. So let's get right into it. To really grasp what the link layer does, I want you to picture a crowded, super noisy dinner party. Everybody's sitting around the same table, and everyone has an absolutely fascinating story to tell. But if every single person tries to talk at the exact same moment, nobody hears a thing, right? It's just noise. Well, our digital devices face literally the exact same physical problem. Whether it's a shared copper wire or the invisible radio frequencies bouncing around your living room, how do machines actually manage to take turns talking without just shouting over each other? The answer to that question lives entirely in the link layer. Now, it's absolutely crucial to distinguish this from the broader network layer that we usually hear about. The network layer, like IP, is all about getting a message from a source to a final destination. That can mean bouncing through dozens of routers halfway across the globe. But the link layer? It has a much more localized, modest goal. It focuses strictly on moving data from one end of a single physical wire or a single wireless hop to the very other end. It's basically the protocol making sure your laptop can successfully talk to your home router in the first place. So, here's our roadmap for today. First up, the link layer explained. Next, we'll look at packets, frames, and MACs. Then we'll dive into the chaos of collisions, followed by fixing those collisions with CSMA CD, wireless and CSMA CA, and finally, modern Ethernet and switches. Kicking things off with packets, frames, and MACs, the anatomy of data. Because before your device can send a message onto that crowded dinner party table, it has to package it correctly. This brings us to the difference between packets and frames. You'll actually hear people use these terms interchangeably all the time, but at this level, they are completely distinct things. The packet is your raw data message coming down from the network layer above. Think of it like a letter you've just written. But you can't just throw a raw piece of paper into the postal system. You have to put it in a physical envelope. Well, the frame is that envelope. The link layer takes your packet, encapsulates it with local control information, and turns it into a raw stream of bits that can physically travel across that local link. When you look at the anatomy of an Ethernet frame, right near the front, just after the little preamble that wakes the receiving device up, you've got the DA and the SA. Those stand for destination address and source address. Just like the to and from labels on our physical envelope, these fields ensure that the hardware on your local network knows exactly who this frame is meant for and exactly who sent it. But what actually are these addresses? They aren't the IP addresses you're probably used to seeing. They're MAC addresses. A MAC address is basically a permanent physical nameplate assigned to a piece of network hardware the exact day it's manufactured. It is literally burned in. And this completely solves the local delivery problem. Your laptop's Wi-Fi card has a unique MAC address, your home router has its own unique MAC address, and that is exactly how they directly pass frames back and forth over a shared medium. Moving on to the chaos of collisions when everyone talks at once. Because as it turns out, just knowing who to send a frame to doesn't actually solve our dinner party problem. What happens when two devices try to send their frames onto the shared wire at the exact same fraction of a millisecond? Well, in a classic shared network, if two computers both decide the line is quiet and they both fire off electrical signals simultaneously, those signals literally meet in the middle. It's a full-on physical traffic jam of voltage. And the result of that crash? Complete and total data destruction. When two electrical signals collide on a shared medium, the voltages combine and distort. All those nice clean ones and zeros instantly turn into unrecognizable garbage. Without our trusty traffic cop to manage this, a shared network with multiple active computers becomes completely useless really fast. Which brings us to fixing collisions, CSMA/CD. This is the heroic engineering solution that was specifically designed to bring order to all that digital chaos in classic Ethernet networks. It's called CSMA/CD. And yeah, that stands for Carrier Sense Multiple Access with Collision Detection. I know, it's a totally intimidating acronym, but it represents a truly elegant concept. Just think of it as a strict set of human rules for using a shared walkie-talkie channel. Let's actually walk through the literal steps of this algorithm because honestly, it is fascinating. First is Carrier Sense. Your computer literally listens to the wire to see if anyone else is transmitting right now. If it's silent, it tries to transmit its frame. But as it sends, it keeps listening. If the signal it reads back is somehow different from what it's sending out, it instantly knows a collision is happening. That's the collision detection part. It immediately aborts the transmission, sends out a jam signal so everyone on the network knows there was a crash, and then, here's the absolute genius part, it waits a totally random amount of time before trying again. If both computers waited exactly 2 milliseconds, they just collide all over again. The random wait is what breaks the standoff. Next up, wireless networks and CSMA/CA/sharing the air. CSMA-CD works beautifully for a physical cable. But what exactly happens when we remove the physical wire entirely and rely on Wi-Fi? Well, with Wi-Fi, we actually can't use collision detection. We have to use collision avoidance, CSMA/CA. Why the change? Because collision detection is fundamentally an analog process. On a physical wire, the colliding voltages are super obvious. But think about it. A wireless radio on your laptop is blasting a really strong signal out, while any incoming signal from a faraway router might be a million times weaker. The radio simply can't shout at the top of its lungs and listen for a tiny distant whisper at the exact same time. It just can't detect a collision while it's transmitting. So instead, it has to actively avoid them in advance. So how exactly does Wi-Fi avoid these collisions? Well, first, devices leave small, deliberate gaps between their transmissions just to ensure the air is truly clear. But more importantly, they can use a clever protocol called RTS/CTS. This means before your laptop sends a massive frame of data, it shoots out a tiny request to send whisper to the router. Then, the router shouts back a clear to send to everyone in range. This brilliantly solves what's known as the hidden terminal problem, which is where your laptop and your neighbor's phone can't actually see each other, but they're both trying to talk to the exact same router. They essentially have to ask for permission before they speak. All right, on to modern Ethernet and switches, the end of collisions. So Wi-Fi obviously has to constantly navigate those shared airwaves. But what about our modern wired networks? Well, engineers eventually figured out a way to engineer the whole collision problem completely out of existence. In the early days of networking, the old way relied on devices called hubs. And a hub was basically just a dumb splitter. If one computer sent a frame, the hub blindly copied it to every single other connected computer. That meant every single device on that hub was stuck in one giant collision domain. Everybody shared the exact same wire capacity, and those CSMA/CD rules we talked about were just constantly working overtime to prevent crashes. But today we have the modern way, which relies on switches. Switches completely revolutionize the link layer. Because unlike a dumb hub, a switch is actually smart. It learns those physical MAC addresses we discussed earlier. So when a frame comes into a switch, the switch looks at the destination address and forwards it strictly to that specific port, nowhere else. This means each individual port on a switch is its own private independent collision domain. Basically, every device gets its own dedicated room to talk in. And because every device has a dedicated link right to the switch, we achieve what is known as full-duplex communication. This means both ends, the computer and the switch port, can transmit and receive data at the exact same time using separate wire pairs inside the cable. Traffic just flows freely in both directions simultaneously. In a fully switched, full-duplex network, collisions are quite literally physically impossible. The old CSMA/CD algorithm, it isn't even needed anymore. It's just incredible progress. To really ground everything we've talked about today, I absolutely love this quote from networking pioneer Andrew S. Tanenbaum. He said, "It is important to realize that collision detection is an analog process. The station's hardware must listen to the channel while it is transmitting." It's such a powerful reminder that at the very bottom layer of our digital world, way beneath all the sleek software and apps, networking is fundamentally about wrangling physical analog electricity and radio waves. It's physical engineering at its absolute finest. Which brings us to a final thought for today. We've seen how switches so elegantly solve the wired collision problem by giving everybody their own dedicated lanes. But our world is rapidly going completely wireless right. A world where everyone is forced to share the exact same invisible open airspace. As we pack more and more smart devices into our homes and our cities, are the current rules of CSMA/CA going to be enough to prevent a total wireless traffic jam? Or is a completely new traffic cop waiting to be invented for the future of Wi-Fi? It's definitely something to chew on the next time your video stream starts buffering. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.